My name is Mike Collins, and my job is actually several jobs. I work in comics. I draw comic books for America and for the UK, but I also do storyboarding for TV shows and for movies. So if you want to say what is my job as a whole thing, my job is telling stories in pictures, but I do it for loads of different people. I think the worst thing about being an artist is the insecurity of it, because it's not a regular job. If I'm working storyboarding on a TV show like Doctor Who, they might only want me for 2 or 3 days, or they might want me for 3 weeks. It depends on whether there's lots of effect shots there that need drawing, or whether there's lots of scenes where there's going to be explosions, so you've got to work out where the actors are going to be so you don't blow up the actors, because that's very important. But on the other hand, that's quite good about the job as well, because it's quite fresh the whole time, because you never know what's coming next. So the uncertainty is the worst thing and the best thing about it. Keeps it exciting. What is it like being an artist? I have no idea what anything else is like. I've been an artist now for 30 years. This has been my job. So part of being an artist, what's quite interesting, people sort of forget, is that also you have to do all the boring stuff. You have to do all the tax stuff and the office stuff. But the upside of that is, when you've got that out of the way, people are paying you to draw, and that is fantastic. A couple of years ago, I had some really bad days. Back when I was just working in comics, I had some really bad deadlines. I had to do so much artwork. I was working 16, 18 hours a day just to meet all my deadlines. And I was coming up for a family holiday, and I thought, right, that's it. I'm going away to the south of France. I'm going away with my kids for 2 weeks. I'm not going to draw. I'm going to put down the pencils. I'm not going to draw. I maybe lasted 2 days. I had to hunt out an art store in the south of France because I just needed to draw. I think I was finding steamed up windows to draw on. One of the things about being an artist is it's not just the thing that you do, it's the thing that you are. You know, if you want to draw, you're going to draw. When I started, I wasn't going to be an artist. I was convinced to go to college and study to be a lawyer. I was going to be a barrister. But I used to spend all my time in law classes drawing Spider-Man. So in the end, I think I took the right choice. I've just finished storyboarding a TV show called Good Omens, which is based on a Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett book, which I think is on TV in December. But I'm currently back on Doctor Who, so I'm working on the first series featuring Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor. That's really exciting. I've just finished a graphic novel about the first moon landing, which is coming out in June, and I carry on doing a series for Marvel, which is a magazine that comes out every fortnight, which is Draw Comics the Marvel Way, teaching you how to draw all the Marvel superheroes and villains. So lots of different things at the same time. You know, that's a really interesting question. I had to think about this one. I really like drawing Spider-Man. I think of anything from when I was a little kid. I really like drawing Spider-Man. I think one of the things that always interests me about doing comics work was I always enjoyed comics where things look real. So I like going to locations and taking loads of photographs, and so when I draw the comics, I try to make everything look as realistic as possible. And I think one of the things, like I said before, about my job in telling stories in pictures is I want to make everything, no matter how incredible the story is, feel like it's real. And I think that's one of the great things in comics, if you can get that sort of sense. And that's one of the great things about doing storyboarding for TV, is that I'm doing the same sort of drawings I do for comics, but then I get real people and dialects to act out my artwork, and that's brilliant. Well, obviously, history. Yeah. I'm always fascinated by history. That's one of the things that's always fascinated me. Art was something I always did, and actually, at the school I went to, there's only 5 of us that did A-level art, and I did the worst of everybody. Came top in history, I was the worst at art. Yeah. Yeah, history's always fascinated me. One of the things, I moved to Wales about 30 years ago when I started working. And I love Wales just because everywhere you look there's bits of history, the castles, the old roads. You got to Carleon and the fort up there, and the fact there was an auxiliary fort down the road. Things that just fascinate me about history. One of the nice things about working on the Doctor Who comic strip particularly is I get to combine my love of history with my love of science fiction. So when I got a chance to write and draw a strip for the Doctor Who magazine a few years ago, I set it during the Roman occupation of Wales, because that was everything then, so that was great. Yeah. My mother used to joke that I was born with a pencil in my hand, but that's not quite true. But right from very little, I always drew. I always drew on whatever was there. I recently moved house, and I cleared out a whole lot of old boxes, and I found I got some old school exercise books. So we're talking stuff from 35 years ago. And they're just full of drawings and notes from my teachers telling me off for drawing in my school exercise books. So I've always drawn. I think we go back to Spider-Man. Yeah, I think Spider-Man for me, one of the things about reading Spider-Man when I was little was that Spider-Man had this thing where, as Peter Parker, he was the kid at school who got picked on because he wore glasses all the time and nobody appreciated that he had all these powers, and it was this whole angst. And I love the fact that it was a school set drama, and I think that's why Spider-Man works, and that's why Spider-Man works the best. It was great that in the latest Spider-Man film they went, okay, that's right, he's a kid at school and he's got all these powers but he's still a kid at school. And it's always that thing about Spider-Man as well as a hero, is that within the Marvel universe he's actually the weakest hero. So when Spider-Man achieves something, it's a really big deal. So when we've got the new Avengers film coming up next month, which I cannot wait to see, you've got Spider-Man up against these cosmic things, you know, the things that are way out of his scale, but he's still going to stand up and fight for that. And I always loved that as a kid. That fact that even though you're not the best there, you're still going to try, you're still going to get somewhere. And so I think that for me was one of the things that I loved about it. I worked on the opening episode of Doctor Who 2 seasons ago, where you had all the Daleks in the Dalek base. And I suddenly realised I was 7 years old again playing with Daleks, but then these were the real Daleks. And so I'd been to visit the set before, as they were building it, so I saw where everything was, and I drew my storyboards, and I got invited down on set to see the filming. And I came into this room, the Doctor was there, Clara was there, there were all these Daleks wandering around, and I thought, this is it, does it get any better? And then the Dalek commander swiveled round and went, "Hiya, Mike!" Because a mate of mine that was an extra that just happened to have got that job for that day. So I went onto the Dalek planet and got told "Hiya, Mike" by the lead Dalek. Doesn't get better than that. One of the problems, and this gets back to the artist's lives being very irregular, you don't do a 9-to-5 day. You can't do that with work. If you're working on a TV show and you're working on set, you actually work on a 10-hour day. It's 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So when I was working on Good Omens, I was actually working on location, and you were literally there all day long working, and quite often you'd be working in the evenings as well to get stuff done. It's quite good that I enjoy drawing, because I tend to do a lot of it. Yeah, most weekends I'll do at least a morning, if not a full day of the weekend working as well, just to keep on top of stuff. It's a great job. It's not the best paying job, I should make that clear as well. So you do have to work extra hours to cover everything. But if you're enjoying doing what you're doing, then it's not really work. It's fun.